So you want to learn how to play poker. Great. Before we get to the rules, let's first go over the objective of the game. Poker is a betting game. This means players make a series of bets on the potential outcome of any given situation. Have you ever heard someone say, "I bet it'll rain tomorrow," or "I bet the train will be late"? Poker is founded on this exact concept. With each passing turn, players bet on the probability that they will win. Lose the game, lose the money you bet. Win the game, win back your own money, plus everyone else's. Exciting. Let's get to the rules. A few things happen at the beginning of each round. One, every player is dealt two cards. These are called hole cards, which I think is a silly name, so let's just call them personal cards. Two, everyone puts an ante into the pot, which is just the pre-round tax for playing the game. The pot is the term for the collection of money in the center of the board. Then, starting with the player to the left of the dealer, the round begins. There are three possible actions a player can make when it is their turn. 1, check, 2, bet, and 3, fold. To bet is to put money in the pot. By betting, you are raising the tax on the round. Every player who wishes to continue must match the amount of money that you've put in if they want to stay in the game. This match is called a call. Any player who does not wish to continue, either because they cannot afford to or because they don't believe their chances of winning is high, may fold at any time. This means that that player is gone from the round and relinquishes their claim to any money they may have already put into the pot. To check is to skip your own turn. You don't wish to bet any money, but you don't want to fold either. A player can only check when there have been no bets made by any other player in the round. Once someone else decides to bet, your check is overruled and you must decide to either call the bet or fold. No freebies. Once this initial round has been completed and every player has either checked, betted, or folded, the first 3 of 5 cards are revealed. These are the community cards. Community cards belong to everyone. After these cards are flipped, the second round of betting begins. Before we continue with this round, let's talk about how you'd go about winning or losing a round. Players aim to make different patterns using a combination of their personal cards and community cards. The name for these patterns is called your hand. A player wins a round if their hand is better than everyone else's. This is a list of all the possible hands in poker. It looks intimidating, but it's actually very simple when you break it down. A pair is the simplest and most common hand in poker, making it the least valuable. Let's say a player has a pair of queens. A pair of queens is better than a pair of threes, but not better than a pair of kings. If two players both have a pair, the winner is the player with the higher pair. Next is two pair. This is when a player has two separate pairs of cards using a combination of their personal cards and community cards. Again, the higher group will always win in the event of a tie. Next is three of a kind. In this case, no players on the table have a three of a kind, but if they did, they would win over the player who had a two pair. This player is confident in their hand. They have two pairs. Because they are feeling confident, they decide to bet. If the other players want to stay in the round, they must call the bet. Otherwise, they'll have to fold and lose the round. After the next player calls and the other player folds, the next card, of 5 total, is revealed. Again, confident, the first player makes a bet. Remember, the purpose of a bet is to raise the total value of the pot as high as possible so that whoever wins takes away as much money as possible. Of course, this is a double-edged sword, since if you lose the round, you lose all of the money you put in the pot. The next player calls the bet. But why would they call this bet? It seems they're sure to lose, given that they don't have any pairs or three of a kinds. But in addition to pairs and three of a kinds, a poker hand can also be made with a run of 5. This is called a straight. With this most recent card, the second player has completed their run of 5 and is happy to lead player 1 into their trap, since a straight is more valuable than 2 pairs. Now that the betting has concluded, the final card is flipped. This card doesn't add to either player's value, since it isn't included in the run of 5, and it doesn't make any pairs. But the players don't know that yet. Confident in their hand, player 1 makes a large bet. Player 2, realizing the time has come to lay the trap, bets even higher. This higher bet is called a raise. This extremely large bet places player 1 in an uncomfortable situation. Either they call the large bet and risk more money than they planned to, or they fold and lose all of the money in the pot. Player 1 decides to call the bet. Notice that they only owe the difference between their original bet and the value of the raise. After the 5th round has concluded, both players reveal their cards to each other and announce their hands. Since a straight is better than 2 pair, player 2 wins. And player 3 is very upset. But why? Because if they had stayed in the game, they would have actually beaten everyone. Using a combination of personal and community cards, player 3 could have made a flush. A flush is the name for when a player has 5 of a kind in a certain suit, in any order. A flush is better than a straight and better than 2 pair. In this case, player 3 would have a flush since there are 5 hearts total in their hand. Better luck next time, player 3. The game continues like this, round after round, until one player has won all the money at the table, at which point the other players would pay up. This is just a beginner tutorial to the game, so there are a few small rules that I've left out for the sake of simplicity, but hopefully now that you have a basic knowledge of how to play the game, you'll have good luck in the future. Thanks for watching.